He's absolutely amazing.
Do you think he's underrated or overrated? He is such a hot spot of criticism and controversy over the years. I have a lot of respect for him. I think he's done some great things in this business. Do you feel like he gets enough credit or too much credit, especially during that time period? Because he was almost as red hot as the wrestlers themselves when he left to go to WCW. Think about it. This is a writer that was making huge internet, noise. So
I think Vince Russo, and I have a lot of respect for Vince Russo. I loved his creativity, and he's amazing when it comes to creative, the creative aspect of professional wrestling. I will say this, however. I think the team of Vince McMahon and Vince Russo is a perfect team because Vince Russo will push the envelope in the most creative ways you can imagine. And then you have the businessman, Vince McMahon, who will be his governor, and he'll have the chains on him. And as far as Vince Russo wants to push the envelope with great ideas, McMahon will pull that chain back and says, we can do that, but we're going to do it right back here. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And so there was a great balance between pushing the envelope.
The two philosophies.
Absolutely.
Right.
The business side of it and the creative side of it meshed together perfectly, and you had an excellent character in the name Val Venis.
Fair to say ego ultimately killed this wonderful team.
I think what happened with Vince Russo is we all have egos, especially in this business. We all got egos. I'm not going to say, I don't have an ego. I have a fucking ego, let me tell you.
Hello, ladies?
Right. I think everybody should have egos. I like people with egos. Confidence.
You're running home here, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
We barely got through the door.
Yeah, and some people demonize people with egos.
Right.
I find comfort in people with egos because I can see they're confident in themselves. You know what I mean?
There you go.
And that's just a reality that nobody can deny. It's a fact. People with egos generally have a lot of confidence, and that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing.
Right.
People with over-the-top egos can be a little problematic, but that's a different story. So Vince Russo has an ego just like we all do. And I think when he went to WCW, Eric Bischoff is a businessman, but he wasn't the businessman to control the creative aspect of Vince Russo. And Vince Russo, instead of being creative for behind the scenes and be creative for other people, where he's focusing on creating different storylines, which, let's face it, when Vince Russo was in WWE, every match had a story. Every match, from opening card to the end card. When he went to WCW, he didn't have those governing chains on him. His ego got the better of him, and he put himself in front of the camera.
Right.
And really, once you've put yourself in front of the camera, now your ego is driving the creativity aspect for your character. Now all of a sudden the importance of other characters, and it's just natural, the importance of other wrestlers creating storylines for them becomes less important.
So how do you feel that Vince was able to, because Vince himself put himself in the ring during the Attitude Era.
Yes.
How was he able to pull it all off while the company continued to grow, not take a hit? He's taking bumps in the ring as well as running it. How did he do that?
I think he did it in a way where he knew what his goals were through the day. And if he felt he could fit in creativity for the show with him being in it, he would fit that in, as long as it didn't interfere with what he was doing, so creating an entire show.
He never made himself the priority of the show. He just would intertwine it if he thought it fit.
Correct. That's my feeling. I don't know for sure. You'd have to ask him personally.
Sure.
But that's kind of the inkling I got. You know what I mean? He's running a business. He wants to make sure everything else is taken care of. Maybe the fans will like this, and I can inject myself here.
It seems to me you got a big-time respect for Vince.
I do. Well, look what the guy's done. You can't deny what he's done. He took a company that was a fairly big Northeast company and turned it into a global phenomenon.
Right.
Anybody that does, as much as the left in this country wants to demonize business people, to me that's remarkable.
It is.
It's remarkable. It's hard work. It's
tenacity.
Well, we have this conversation between ourselves a lot. Vince is a